Soldering do's and don't. Tools needed for soldering. Solder gun. It's a hand tool that plugs into a standard 120 V AC outlet and heats up in order to melt solder around electrical connections. This is one of the most important tools used in soldering, and it can come in variations such as gun or pen form. Solder stand. You might also use a soldering iron stand, which provides a safe, sturdy place to store your iron when you are not using it. Solder wire. It's the material that melts around a joint and hardens to give electrical conductivity and mechanical rigidity. It allows the solder to flow between the components needing to be joined. Cutter. It is used to cut extra terminals of components after soldering. How to solder a component on PCB. First we take the resistor, then bend both terminals of the resistor like this and then insert both terminals of the resistor into the holes. Now rotate the PCB accordingly. Now here we perform the soldering activity using a solder gun. For the soldering process we required a solder metal with a solder gun. Now put the solder wire near the terminal and the tip of the solder gun like this. In this way we perform the soldering for all the remaining components. Now with the help of a cutter, we cut the extra terminal of the resistors. Now check the user manual for every component for place on PCB. Please refer to the user manual for component placing. Also check on PCB, every component name is written on it so you can place the respective component at that place. How to hold solder gun. Always pick up the soldering iron by the insulated handle. Never touch the soldering tip. It will damage or harm your hand. No two components solder joint together. Always be careful while IC soldering. Never join the two terminals of IC like this. What is perfect soldering? Always do soldering like this. Never apply too much solder metal on PCB like this. Be careful not to apply too much pressure on PCB while soldering. This is the perfect soldering. Don't apply too much pressure with the tool on the PCB or the parts being soldered. Be careful while soldering PCB-mounted components and IC chips, as excessive heat may damage or break the sensitive part or burn up a circuit board trace. Use of soldering stand. Always put the soldering iron back onto the soldering iron stand when you are done using it. Remember, the tip of the iron is at around 400 degrees Celsius, which can give a nasty burn. Keep the iron in its stand when not in use. It takes a long time for the iron to cool down after use. Always takes precaution.